Are you looking for an athletic scholarship? You're in the right place. This is the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, the longest-running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. We're here to help your family navigate the recruiting road all the way to an athletic scholarship. He's a recruiting expert and a dad of 2 college athletes. He has a wealth of experience to share. Here's Recruit Me CEO, Brent Hanks.
Welcome to 2026 and the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, episode 492. The Athletic Scholarship Podcast is a valuable recruiting resource that Recruit Me LLC provides you for free. Listen to future The Athletic Scholarship Podcast episodes on your favorite podcast app, or go to the recruit-me.com website. You can go back and listen to all the informative The Athletic Scholarship Podcast episodes too. Today I go back and review each of the 52 episodes from the 2025 year. January 7th, episode 440. Why Recruit Me May Not Be For You. The Athletic Scholarship Podcast started off the new year of 2025 by telling you that you may not need Recruit Me on your recruiting journey. As you listen to episode 440, you may find a few tips that Recruit Me can help you with, no matter your sport or your level of play. January 14th, episode 441. Recruit Me will save you time, money, and anxiety. Let's talk anxiety. One of Recruit Me's goals is to help you reduce the anxieties of a recruiting journey. If you listen to this episode, you'll find ways to reduce anxieties, but we can't get rid of them. January 21st, episode 442. Workshop number 3 with Elite Academic Academy. Steps number 3 and number 4 of the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. Hear what the Athletic Scholarship and Recruit Me had to say to both the Elite Academic Academy in a workshop and then to potential student athletes in episode 442 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast about step number 3, create your own player profile, and step number 4, build your own recruiting questionnaire. January 28th, episode 443, an interview with Jay Spoonhour, NIL Director. Part 1 of a 2-part interview. This interview with Jay Spoonhour, who was the Assistant Athletics Development Director at Missouri State University, introduces Jay, his job, and examples of different ways NIL is used and how it influences different levels of play. February 4th, episode 444, part 2 of 2 with an interview with Jay Spoonhour. You get more from Jay Spoonhour on NIL and from the many changes in college sports. February 11th, episode 445, Recruit Me will save you money. There is a lot of ways to spend money preparing for playing your sport in college. Paying a recruiting service a bunch of money shouldn't be one of them. Recruit Me's athletic recruiting education model will save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. February 18th, episode 446. Workshop number 4 with Elite Academic Academy. Step number 5 and step number 6 of the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. Get the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System steps 5 and 6, which are track your communications and send 1-paragraph or 1-page updates to college coaches. February 25th, episode 447, an interview with Baseball Book's president, Eric Wabana. The Baseball Bluebook app is a great resource for all things baseball, especially recruiting. It has tools that help you during your recruiting process for not only baseball, but for all sports. March 4th, episode 448, Recruit Me will save you time. This is the 3rd in a 3-part series about one of Recruit Me's goals is to save the student athlete and their family time, money, and anxiety. You will find out that Recruit Me's process takes time, your time, to do all the steps to find your right fit college, and that the ultimate time saver in recruiting is finding that right fit choice. March 11th, episode 449, an interview with Kent Mueller, the father of a former NCAA Division III football player and a high school sports podcaster. This is part 1 of a 2-part interview with Kent. Kent is the father of a former NCAA Division III football player, and he will guide you through his son's recruitment and decision and experience at Denison University as a wide receiver for the football team. March 18th, episode 450, workshop number 5 with Elite Academic Academy, step number 7 of the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. Steps 1 through 6 of the athletic scholarship system are a build-up to step number 7, which is make your school choice wisely. Get the 7 steps in the Recruit Me 3.0 system. It's only $39 on the recruit-me.com website. March 25th, episode 451, part 2 of an interview with Kent Mueller, the father of a former Division III football player and current podcaster. This athletic scholarship podcast is the second part of a 2-part interview with Kent Mueller. We cover Kent's involvement in covering both high school sports and college sports in Missouri. Kent has a podcast and a new project called Missouri Milestones. If you are a high school basketball coach, high school athletic director, or parent, or a player that scored 1,000 points or more in your high school career in Missouri, you need to listen to this episode. Also, everyone else also listen in and learn about Kent's adventures. April 2nd, episode 452. Advice about recruiting during your freshman year of high school according to Gronk 3 and Recruit Me. This episode came out on April Fool's Day, and this episode is no joke. I decided to use Gronk 3 AI technology to see what it said about athletic recruiting for a freshman in high school. This episode gives you what Gronk 3 suggests and then what Recruit Me suggests. April 8th, episode 453. 4 years to play another 4 years. A recent podcast I listened to and a recent Facebook memory inspired this episode of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. This podcast highlights Sean Casey, an ex-MLB player and the star of the Mayor's Office podcast. Sean tells a story about a recent speech to the Milwaukee Brewers during a spring training visit. Listen and be inspired on how to use and appreciate your prime sports playing years, and then how to use your high school years to get recruited. I also tell about Parker, my older son's college adventure as COVID hit and affected his 4-year college experience. April 15th, episode 454, workshop number 6 with Elite Academic Academy. What is Recruit Me? And a summary of the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. April 22nd, episode 455, advice about recruiting during your sophomore year of high school according to Gronk 3 and Recruit Me. Hear what Gronk 3's artificial intelligence tells you if you ask it, if I'm a sophomore in high school, what should I be doing to get recruited to play a sport in college? You get Gronk 3's list of actions and then Recruit Me's response to Gronk 3, and then some extra recruiting advice and tips. April 29th, episode 456, advice about recruiting during your junior year of high school according to Gronk 3 and Recruit Me. And then on March 6th, episode 457, you get advice from recruiting during your senior year of high school according to Gronk 3 and Recruit Me. These two, episode 456 and 457, cover your junior and senior years of high school, and you will get plenty of information to help you on your recruiting journey. March 13th, episode 458, get recruited this summer. Here are 4 tips on getting recruited during the summer, and here's one of them. Number 1, research the college programs on your college list. Listen to episode 458 and hear the other 3. May 20th, episode 459, recruiting tips from a recruiting service and Recruit Me LLC. In this episode, I'll read you an @SportsForceBB thread from X, and then I'll comment on each part of its information. May 27th, episode 460 is called College Sports, a Worthy Goal. I cover some of the off-field experiences that are a benefit to a college athlete. This episode shows you that college sports is not only about the field, the court, or the track. There are many advantages to playing a sport in college. Relationships and travel are just 2 of the advantages. January 3rd, episode 461, are mid-majors on your college school list? A few times in the spring, Recruit Me posted on Facebook and X pictures of social media posts that gave recent looks at baseball or softball programs that listed rankings through the last season. Posts like D1 softball mid-majors top 25. Junior college teams and their rankings. D3 rankings and D2 rankings with top 25. And NCAA Division II baseball and NAIA top teams. Plus NCAA Division I mid-major rankings. The reason that Recruit Me posted these was to show a few of the ways to find schools for potential student athletes to help research with their college school lists. Developing a college school list is an exercise from step 1 of the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship, which is found in the Recruit Me 3.0 athletic scholarship system. Check it out on the recruit-me.com website. June 3rd, episode 462, how not to get over-recruited or under-recruited. You probably know an athlete that got under-recruited or that did not get recruited at all. Both under-recruited and over-recruited are a thing. Listen to episode 462 to learn about both. June 17th, episode 463, House versus NCAA settlement for Division I. Big changes are happening in college sports and recruiting. The House versus NCAA settlement is covered in this podcast. Name, image, and likeness, NIL, roster and scholarship numbers, and the transfer portal are all discussed. June 24th, episode 464, Summertime Recruiting Tips. In this episode, you get summertime recruiting tips. And instead of rewriting summer recruiting tips, I decided to replay a past The Athletic Scholarship Podcast episode 357. You will get 6 helpful summer recruiting tips. July 1st, episode 465, a social media post asking, "What is the best college baseball recruiting strategy you have seen?" This question on Facebook came up, and I'll give you some of the responses from parents and coaches. July 8th, episode 466, Take a Drive-Through, a replay of episode 206. Episode 206 was one of my first episodes as the owner of Recruit Me, and it covered the importance of a student-athlete and their family to plan and do drive-throughs on college campuses. The summer season is a great time to enact this tool to help in your recruiting journey. July 16th, episode 467, Recruit Me 7 Steps in Recruiting That Stand the Test of Time. Recruit Me 7 Steps to an Athletic Scholarship are time-tested and replicated by many recruiting resources. This episode dives into those 7 steps. July 22nd, episode 468, a replay of 3 hard things for a 16-year-old to do. This episode uncovers 3 things that are hard for a teenage recruit to do. Learn what they are and see how you can get ready for them. July 29th, episode 469, social media recruiting extracts. Get an episode full of recruiting advice from various social media posts that I have screenshot over time. August 5th, episode 470, End of Summer Recruiting Task, a replay of episode 314 from August 2022. Here are some end of summer tasks to help you with your recruitment. August 12th, episode 471, You Need a Recruiting Education Presentation. I give you recruiting presentation examples that help get our family on the recruiting track. Let Recruit Me help you to get you on track. August 19th, episode 472, Great information from D3 Direct, at D3 Direct on X. Take a peek into a post from 2025 on at D3 Direct on X about athletic recruiting at the NCAA Division III level. August 26th, episode 473, a replay of episode 265, A New School Year Recruiting Tips. I cover what to do as the new school year starts. Listen in and hear how to enhance your fall recruiting journey. September 2nd, episode 474, recruiting information from Honest Game, at Honest Game Cares on X. Get their recruiting advice from 2025 on academics, recruiting, and each level of competition. September 9th, episode 475, 10 Myths About Athletic Recruiting. The 10 Myths About Athletic Recruiting from the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System. Myth number 1, if my child is good enough, the college coaches will find him or her. Myth number 2, if I'm talented, the coach can get me into the school despite poor grades. Myth number 3, I can trust everything the coaches say and promise during the recruiting process. Myth number 4, I can wait until my senior year to look for college scholarships. Myth number 5, most athletic scholarships are full rides. Myth number 6, my high school coach or guidance counselor will get me a scholarship. Myth number 7, I have to be the best player on my team to get any athletic financial aid. Myth number 8, schools only give scholarships for money sports like football and basketball. Myth number 9, coaches resent being contacted by prospective athletes. And myth number 10, I already received a letter from a college coach, so I'm being recruited. September 16th, episode 476, a replay of John Fugler's The Athletic Scholarship Podcast, episode number 3, Myths About Athletic Scholarships. John Fugler is the founder of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast and Recruit Me, and he gave 3 myths about recruiting back in 2015. Hear what 3 myths John started the Athletic Scholarship Podcast with. September 23rd, episode 477, 2 more myths about athletic recruiting. 2 newer myths that have cropped up are colleges are not currently recruiting players out of high school, and you need to commit early to get a scholarship. Learn about these 2 myths about athletic recruiting. September 30th, myth number 1 about athletic recruiting, a replay of episode 401 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. Myth number 1, if my child is good enough, the college coaches will find him or her. Truth, a very small percentage of high school student athletes receive scholarships because the coach just happened to find him or her. Only the top-line elite athletes, the top 100 or so nationally, receive enough national media recognition that they are automatically recruited without having to make an effort. The other 99% plus have to take the initiative to contact the schools where they may have an interest. Most schools' recruiting budgets are limited, and coaches rely on you to contact them first. They don't have the time or the budget to travel around the country to see your student-athlete compete. Videos, stats, references, and the like become key tools for the coach in the recruiting and evaluating process. Parents, you might think that this is too self-promoting to make the initial contact with the coach or to market your child. However, this is the norm. If you don't do it, other student-athletes will get the scholarships because they and their parents will have made the effort to receive the attention. Coaches these days expect you to do this. It is an acceptable practice. October 9th, episode 479, Myth about Athletic Recruiting. The NCAA Division I level is always the best option. There are different levels within the NCAA Division I level, and also you should explore the other NCAA divisions, Division II and Division III, and then the NAIA and the junior college levels. October 14th, episode 480, a replay of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, episode number 3, Recruiting Lies That Can Cost You an Athletic Scholarship. This gives you 5 lies or myths about athletic recruiting. October 21st, episode 481, you are just one email away from a college scholarship. In this episode, you get a look into a conversation that stirred me to give you 3 myths about athletic scholarships. October 28th, episode 482, Recruiting Social Media Screenshots in 2025, January through March 2025. This episode starts a series of media screenshot episodes. These are social media screenshots that I have made from January 2025 to March 2025. These are great and helpful recruiting tidbits of advice to help you in your recruiting journey. November 4th, episode 483, Recruiting Social Media Screenshots in 2025, April through June 2025. November 11th, episode 484, Recruiting Social Media Screenshots in 2025, July through August 2025. And November 19th, episode 485, Recruiting Social Media Screenshots in 2025, September through October 2025. November 25th, episode 486, a replay of episode 100 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, The Bottom Line in Recruiting, the 3 A's. The replay of episode 100 is from RecruitMe's founder and the Athletic Scholarship founder, John Fugler, and he gives you the 3 A's to recruiting. December 2nd, episode 487, a replay of episode 271, a peek into Sutton's unofficial visits. Sutton, my youngest son, had some unofficial visits, and he used these to help him make a decision on where to play college baseball and further his education. By the way, the title actually says official visit, but it was unofficial visits. December 9th, episode 488, a look into an episode of the College Recruiting Weekly podcast. I do a lot of research about the athletic recruiting world, and one of the podcasts I listen to regularly is the College Recruiting Weekly podcast by Dan Tudor. Dan is a recruiting coach that helps college coaches and athletic departments across the nation. Today I cover episode 217 of the College Recruiting Weekly podcast called Lessons from an Athletic Director Who Also Advises Rising Prospects. December 17th, Athletic Recruiting Terminology and Definitions. December 23rd, episode 490, an interview with Cameron Wright, part 1 of 2, a junior college to an NAIA to a Division I story. In this episode, we discovered Cameron's son, Devin's recruiting from high school to junior college baseball to NAIA baseball to NAIA track to Division I track. This is a great story. Listen in. And to finish the year, December 30th, episode 491, an interview with Cameron Wright, part 2 of 2, a high schooler to a D1 track commitment. In this episode, we talk about Cameron's daughter, Bria, as she is committed to run track for the Division I Wichita State Shockers. See how she made the decision to commit to go to Wichita State. Thank you for listening to the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. Like or subscribe to the free and the world's longest-running athletic recruiting education podcast. And tune in every Tuesday for each new episode that will change your athletic scholarship future.